All right, guys, welcome back to a new episode of ATU Sports Corner. My name is Kenny Ketcherside. I'll be the host for this week. Our boy Donnie is out with a medical emergency, so I'll be having to take the reins right now. But we're going to talk about this NFL Sunday recap. The Colts still continuing their dominance. Caden, what do you have to say?
Before we get to that, can I make it clear that Donnie's okay? I just want to make sure that's clear to our audience. Caden, you can go ahead.
Donnie's okay, and so is Danny. And by Danny, I mean Danny Dimes. Because they improved to 7-1. He has 2,000 passing yards on the season with 13 touchdowns. And he has the second best QBR in the league with a 79.3. The Colts improved to 7-1. I didn't think they were going to be legit. But Jonathan Taylor continues to prove that he's a top running back in the league, potentially the best. This receiver room isn't super talented outside of Michael Pittman, but Tyler Warren has been really good. This defense isn't bad. Quentin Nelson is an all-time offensive lineman, and this Colts team continues to impress.
Yeah, Danny Dimes has been great all year. Jonathan Taylor, like you said, arguably the best running back in the league. In this game, he had 153 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 12 carries. He's been absolutely incredible, super efficient. Hasn't done as much of that like dancing around in the backfield as you'd see from him in previous years. He's been a lot more decisive in his runs, and I think that's really been the difference. But, I mean, Daniel Jones, I don't understand what happened to make this guy as good as he is.
I think it's just the same deal as like Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. It was just finding the right coach.
I guess so, but, man, he is just absolutely lighting it up this year for Indianapolis. I don't know how real that is really still. I think there's still a little bit of doubt lingering for me. But,
I feel like that's how it was last year, too, with Darnold with the Vikings.
But, I mean, the Darnold thing, it didn't really work out in the playoffs. So I don't know, this could be that same sort of thing. But right now, they're playing great football.
All right, next, the Jets finally pick up their very first win against the Bengals. Brandon, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm really just happy to see that Justin Fields was able to have a really good game and get this win. I know he was going through a lot mentally with all the talk of him being benched for Tyrod Taylor. But he came out, he played really well. Breece Hall as well had a great game, 18 carries, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was really playing at a high level in this game all game long. And he also had a passing touchdown on the goal line. But the Jets, maybe this is the start of something, but I think really more than anything, this might be a concerning thing for the Bengals. Their defense allowing 39 points to a team that's been the worst offense in the league all season long is a major concern. The offense was fine. Flacco was solid. P. Ryan and Chase Brown both did well on the ground, and Jamar Chase did his thing as always. But, man, that defense stinks.
Yeah, we've known this defense has sucked for a while, and the Bengals continue to not try to improve it, which the general management is under question to me. But anyway, for the Jets, it was great to see him get a win. Justin Fields played at a very high level. It looked like he was kind of just loose out there, kind of just playing, having fun, not too worried about it, because at this point he had already thought he lost his job earlier in the week, but then Tyrod Taylor goes out and he gets the starting job back. And they said on the post-game broadcast he kind of just looked free, looked like he was not too stressed about anything and just playing football, which is what the Jets want. They put up 39 points after coming off either last week or the week before they had negative passing yards. So it was kind of just – it was good to see that he played at a high level. Breece Hall is a top running back in the league, and the Bengals, their season is kind of deflated.
All right, next we have the Green Bay Packers beating their former all-star quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Brandon, what are your thoughts on this game?
Nothing but happy ones, baby. Nothing but happy thoughts on this one. My man Jordan Love has been absolutely incredible, and he was incredible in this game. 29 for 37, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, all through the air. And he had 20 straight completions at one point in this game, something Aaron Rodgers in his Hall of Fame career never accomplished. He was absolutely wheeling and dealing, and he was wheeling and dealing mainly to that guy right there, Tucker Kraft. Kraft had 7 catches for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns on National Tight Ends Day. I mean, the weapons are really starting to come into their own. Jordan Love makes an absolutely ridiculous throw here to the returning Christian Watson. By the way, Savion Williams, my boy, also made his way into the end zone. I really like to see what these weapons are starting to figure out on the edge. And Jaden Reed is also out, and Matthew Golden, I feel like, has a lot of room to improve still. Of course, Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary got after that quarterback, as they always do. And the second half of this game for the Packers, I mean, I think they scored like 28-3 in a run. I mean, just absolutely exactly how they should be playing in the second half.
With Donnie out today, I'm in here with 2 Packers fans, so this is a rough Monday as a Cowboys fan, and we got smoked. But we're not going to talk about that. But the Packers played at a very high level. Josh Jacobs is having an okay season, but I don't think it's as good as it was last year. I think Packers fans can agree. But Jordan Love is carrying that weight. They're 5-1-1 now. I think they're working their way definitely back into the top 10, working back to being a Super Bowl contender potentially. They just had a really bad stretch with the Browns and the Cowboys. But now they're starting to pick back up. Matt LaFleur is getting this offense unlocked, and they're starting to find an identity again. And Micah Parsons is being very electric for them on the defensive side, even if it's not putting up stats. And I don't know what the Steelers were wearing. I'm going to contribute that to why they lost. I don't think you can play good if you have that on.
So bad.
Because whatever that was, I couldn't play good if I was wearing that. So I'm not even going to blame it on them. But great game by the Packers.
Yeah, like you said, Josh Jacobs really has not got it going at all much this year. And in this game, 13 carries for just 33 yards. He did get in the end zone, but I think the showing of how Josh Jacobs is really struggling on the ground is just like proved even more that Jordan Love has been that guy, because he's able to excel despite the lack of a run game.
Even without like a stud receiver, like a high caliber. I mean, Christian Watson and Jaden Reed, they're all good, but none of them are high level.
No one he can just lean on.
Yeah.
Brandon, that's what I wanted to ask you, actually. Do you think, with really Tucker Kraft showing out this season, that the Packers wide receivers, like, yes, a lot of people say they don't have a number one. Do you think Tucker Kraft, at this moment in time, is like that number one guy for Jordan Love?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what he's been so far this year. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't continue to be that way unless one of the other receivers has a leap and improves a lot. So, I mean, I love the way Tucker Kraft's playing right now, especially after the catch. He's been absolutely incredible, and we saw that a lot last night, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
All right, next we have tonight's game, Commanders at Chiefs, Monday Night Football. Who do you guys got for this one?
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I don't have much excitement for this game, to be honest with you, with Jaden Daniels expected to be out. Marcus Mariota hasn't really inspired a ton of confidence in this offense for the Commanders. Bill Krosky-Merritt hasn't really had the most explosive of weeks as of late. And I know Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel are very talented receivers. They have shown that so far this year. But without a high-level quarterback to get them the ball, I have a hard time seeing this Washington Commanders offense scoring a lot of points. And I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to be too much to keep up with.
The Chiefs have been playing very high-level football. I'm going to agree with you on this one. The Chiefs are just going to be too much for this team without Jaden Daniels. I really don't think they're going to be able to keep up. Just because Marcus Mariota, he's not a very high-level quarterback, especially not like he was at the beginning of his career when he was decent. He's definitely fallen down since then. And this offense doesn't have a true leader without Daniels on the field. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have just been on the incline ever since a little bit of a rocky start. I think Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce, Pacheco, Hunt, they're all starting to unlock this offense and figure out how, without a Tyreek Hill, and how they've done in previous years, how they can unlock this offense through speed, through screens, quick runs, trick plays. Andy Reid is getting this offense completely figured out, and the defense is doing good as usual.
All right, so that's all we have for the NFL Sunday recap. When we come back from break, we're going to be talking about the NBA opening week. All right, welcome back after seeing that wonderful commercial. So now we're going to talk about NBA opening week. Guys, who do you guys got for player of the week?
Just a little disclaimer, that is a staged video. Donnie was not hit by a car as far as I know. But, a player who really impressed me this week, rookie Cedric Coward was absolutely great for the Memphis Grizzlies in his first 3 games. He played super well in transition, running the floor, finishing even in traffic. And also, he showed his ability that he showed in college to back down smaller guards and dominate them in the post. I think Cedric Coward was one of my favorite guys pre-draft, and I think the Memphis Grizzlies are a great situation for him. He's had a lot of opportunities to play off of the ball, and I think that's the way you prefer to play him. Right now, he is 70% from the field and 73% from 3. Hyper efficient, 19 points a game. Obviously, you don't expect those efficiency numbers to stay quite that high, but I think it is a good sign, and it's very promising for him, and I expect him to play a good amount of minutes for the Grizzlies in the future.
What I've loved about this opening week is that all of the superstars, like Luka, Shea, Wemby, Anthony Edwards, all of these guys have absolutely performed. Shea has played amazing. He broke some records. Wemby had a 40-15 game to start the year. Luka had 40 in his first game. I mean, there's plentiful star games that have been insane to watch, and it's great for the league seeing these top players, no matter who it is, that's all-star caliber and superstar caliber, to go out there and do their job and perform in this first week, giving teams some life and showing why they are top players.
Yeah, how about a guy who's not a top player, though? Keyshawn George, the first couple games of the season, 21 points against the Bucks and 34 in a win over the Dallas Mavericks in that game. He had 34, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. I mean, Keyshawn George is playing at a really high level. I hope he can continue this. This is another guy who I really like coming out of the draft. Great shooter, and I think he showed an ability that we didn't see last year to shoot over guys. He has that 6'8", 6'9" frame, and I think that is very beneficial to him, and I hope we can continue to see him play like that.
All right. So with it being NBA opening week, a lot of rookies are making their debut. Who do you guys got for making rookies off with their hot start already?
For my rookie of the week for this first week, the person that performed the best to me, well, there's 2. I think it's a tie personally. That's between Con Knuppel and Dylan Harper. They both played amazing on very good efficiency too, both shooting over 50% from the field. Knuppel averaged 15, 4, and 4, I believe, 15, 4, and 1, excuse me. And Dylan Harper averaged 16, 5, and 4. And I mean, that's on a Spurs team that's currently 3-0, tied for the top spot in the West with the Thunder. Spurs are performing very well with Dylan Harper being at a top spot in that. And the Hornets aren't playing bad basketball, and Con Knuppel has been doing very good. Another rookie that hasn't put up very high stats, but has been very impactful, at least in the games I've watched, has been Will Richard with the Golden State Warriors. He was very good last year with Miami on that championship, or Florida, excuse me, on that championship team. And this year he's performing good for the Warriors, just kind of being a plug-and-play guy and just doing what he's asked and getting some buckets along the way.
Yeah, on your point on Dylan Harper, we do have some video for him. I feel like whenever I watch him play, the thing that pops most to me is his balance and just playing through contact with that balance and driving to the rim. He's so much in control of his own body at all times, something you don't normally see from a rookie playing against more physical NBA talent. And it's been super impressive to see that from him. Another guy, though, that has played very well, VJ Edgecombe, has been getting heavy minutes for the Philadelphia 76ers, and he's been getting a heavy shot diet, and he's really thrived in that. In the first game against Boston, he had 26 shot attempts and shot 50% on those. And I think for me, the thing that's really impressed me with him is the jump shot making. We all know about the athleticism, the ability to run in transition and finish at the rim. But I think for him, the jump shot has always been the swing factor for him. And I think he's really shown a high ability in that. And one more thing, let's give a little shout out to Hugo Gonzalez. That guy earned a start after just one NBA game, and he's just playing really well on the defensive end, using his hands, being in the right place at the right time. And it's really impressed me from a young guy who was not really highly regarded.
But I'm not watching Celtics basketball. I'll just put that out there because that team is disgusting without Jason Tatum. I watched one of those games, and it was atrocious. But I want to go back to what you said about VJ Edgecombe and the Sixers team. This young core has looked amazing. From him and Tyrese Maxey, I think that's very promising. Embiid has not had a very good start to this season.
He's been limited minutes. They're keeping him at 20 minutes.
And then with Jared McCain eventually coming back, hopefully he can get healthy. He played at a very high level last year when he was playing. I think this young 76ers core, if they can somehow possibly, I'm sure in the future they want to move off Paul George and hopefully keep Embiid and keep him healthy. I think the Sixers team, especially in this weak Eastern Conference, I think they could be decent.
Yeah, the Sixers are really interesting. They're kind of one of those teams that, like, if they can just be healthy and have all their guys out there, they obviously have a chance to compete for a title. It's just that is a massive if for them, year in and year out.
All right. So with it being the opening week, not to overreact to like all of these games, it is like in the very few early stages. But what are some of y'all early takeaways from what y'all seen?
I think the two teams that really just need to change up their strategy are Houston and Dallas. They're both playing these massive lineups without guards. And I'll start with Dallas because I do think that they are starting to find a bit of a solution. This last game, they played D'Angelo Russell 29 minutes, which is much more than the previous games. But whenever they haven't had a point guard out there, they have really struggled to take care of the basketball and generate good looks. Klay Thompson really has not been able to do that for them whenever he's played the point guard role. And Cooper Flagg, I think, is just not really ready for that type of responsibility on that end. So I'm very concerned about that. I do think if they give D'Lo more minutes and he plays the way he did last night, I think they will improve on that. But for Houston, it's a lot of the same thing. Amin Thompson is a very good guard. We are both big fans of Amin Thompson and his game. But at the end of the day, he is not really someone who you want to be your only ball handler out there. I know Kevin Durant has that ability, but he's getting up there in age, and you don't really want to put a big load on him in this point of the season, especially at 37 years old. I think that they should really find another guard, maybe even move the Fred VanVleet contract if they can get him to agree to a trade. They tried some stuff with Reed Shepherd. He has really, really struggled. He has not looked good whatsoever. They're going to have to trade for a guard, in my opinion.
I think the good thing for both these teams, though, even if they do decide to keep Fred VanVleet, is both of their starting point guards are hurt with VanVleet and Irving. So when both these teams get these guys back, I think it'll flow a little smoothly, but they're not going to be back till later in the season. So they're going to have to push through and somehow at least get a seeding in the playoffs if they want to compete. But I think the reigning champs, Oklahoma City Thunder, have, of course, looked amazing. I think the San Antonio Spurs have looked amazing. And some other teams have also looked okay. But two teams that have not looked good to me, there's also two teams that are dealing with injuries, and that is the Celtics and the Pacers. Celtics basketball is just not pretty this year. Anthony Simons is garbage. I've seen some really garbage minutes of him on that floor in a Celtics uniform. And I used to think he was decent on the Blazers, but I guess that's because they were bad too. So I don't know what's going on in Boston. And the Pacers are also winless. They're 0-3, but they're missing Halliburton. But I'd still like to see Siakam and Nembhard and Mathurin and some of these other guys step up and win a game. I mean, they played great last year without Halliburton in the playoffs. They were competing with the Thunder, with the Knicks. T.J. McConnell, where's he at if it's not playoff time? I just want to see this Pacers team perform better than 0-3 so far in the first week.
Yeah, and on your Celtics point, I mean, there's a reason why I took them to be my underachieving team before we started the season on the pre-show. But I really feel like every time we watch them play, it feels like an experiment. Like they're just going out there and trying stuff. And Peyton Pritchard is really not taking the scoring load like many thought he would be able to. And it just feels like we're going into every game going, what now?
I feel like it's bringing the mood down in Boston, though, because it's experimental, and Boston is not used to messing around or taking an off year. Mm-hmm. Boston is used to being top dogs with Tatum, and they don't have it this year.
Mm.
All right, so that's all we have for the NBA. After break, we're going to be getting into college football.
You can trust your local TV and radio stations to deliver the information you need when it matters most. As misinformation floods social media, you can trust us to deliver the truth. We are broadcasters.
What's up, NFL fans? Quarterback Josh Dobbs here. You may know me as the Pastronaut.
This is my time.
I've always loved space and football. Growing up, some people told me I had to choose. But here's the deal. You can be great at more than one thing and getting involved in STEM opens up your world to a universe of opportunities in life. Space isn't just for the astronauts.
It's for all of us. It's not just for engineers like myself.
It's for teachers,
students,
designers,
Mechanics,
Scientists.
And millions of football fans across the world.
3, 2, 1, watch out, here I come. This is my time. I'm on the rise, can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time.
Get inspired and get involved today. There are STEM programs and science centers available in your community, so be sure to check out spaceforall.us to learn more and get started.
This is my time.
After all, there are no limits when there are footprints on the moon. Find your place in space. Space for all.
All right, welcome back, guys. Before we get into college football pick'em, I just want to shout out Caden's dad watching this right now. I just want to say I'm so glad you're watching the show, supporting Arkansas Tech University and at Tech TV. But next we got Diego Pavia at Arch Manning's place. Brandon, who do you think is going to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Caden's dad. Thanks for giving us the support. But with the Texas, I worry about that offense, the way they've been. Even with Contravian Wisner back, they haven't really been very explosive on offense. It's been a lot of long possessions where they're kind of just hoping that they can get all the way to the red zone. It's not really explosive plays, putting them in the end zone or even down on the goal line. And I think that's why I'm going to roll with Vandy. I think their offense is just a lot more explosive with Diego Pavia at the helm, and I think he can get it done on the road in Austin, despite the fact they are underdogs.
I also really like Vandy. Speaking of parents, Theo Vaughn has been linked with Diego Pavia, and I honestly love him. I love Diego Pavia. I think he's.
I thought you were going to say you love Theo Vaughn.
I love Theo Vaughn too. He's like one of my favorite comedians. Also another Nashville guy, Nate Bargatze. But I love the Commodores. I think Diego Pavia has had an incredible season. I think he's building off last year and proving that Vanderbilt can be a football program. Nate Bargatze said on College Game Day this past week that Oklahoma was always better than them, but Vandy's the better team now. Vandy's inside the top 10. I think they continue to improve. They're at 9 right now at 7-1. They're going into Texas. It is going to be tough, but Arch Manning hasn't just thoroughly impressed me yet, and I'm going to take the Commodores on the road.
I didn't know we were just naming our favorite comedians.
Well, they're both from Nashville, and Bargatze was on Game Day.
I know. It's just I didn't know that's where we were taking
It
this.
ties in though.
Okay.
That's right. Shout out Theo Vaughn. He is one lucky man right now. So next, we're going to be talking about Tennessee at Oklahoma. Who do you guys got for this one?
This one's interesting. Tennessee has a very high-powered offense. They've shown that all year. And Oklahoma is a very good defense. And they've had a high-powered offense at times with John Mateer. Tennessee is favored in this one, which I find interesting. I think there is still a little bit of doubt with the health of John Mateer. And I know this Tennessee passing game has been elite all year long, but I do think that this Oklahoma defense, with Thomas coming off the edge and all their other defensive studs, I think they're going to be a little bit too much for Aguilar, and the Sooners will get it done on the road.
I also think the Sooners are going to win, and looking at John Mateer's stats, he has 8 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. If you look at that on paper, it's not very impressive, but if you watch this Sooner team, they love John Mateer, and all of Norman knows that John Mateer is that guy. And I think he's going to go into Tennessee and pick up a huge win. Joey Aguilar has had a really good season, but I don't know if it can amount to this Oklahoma team. Star wide receiver for them, Isaiah Satania. He has been good. He had a really bad week last week. Former Razorback, now a Sooner. And I think OU just goes into Tennessee. I think their run game hasn't been great, but I think Mateer's going to make up for it, have a few touchdowns, and hopefully stay away from the turnovers.
All right. So next we have Cincinnati at Utah. Two teams that are like very under the radar for most of the country watching. Caden, who do you think is going to bring this one home?
I'm going to take the Bearcats. I know Utah's favored, and they're favored by a good amount, and they're at home. But I think this Bearcats team is honestly just better. Brendan Sorsby, their quarterback, has had a pretty good year. He's looking at 1,800 yards to 20 touchdowns and just 1 interception. He's been playing really good. Devin Dampier has also been very good for the Utes, but I don't know if they're a better team. Like you said, this is kind of a Big 12 matchup that really isn't highly anticipated or people are really excited for. But I think the Bearcats go into Utah and pick up a big one.
Yeah, game day is going to this game, and I think a lot of people were surprised by that decision, but I do think it is nice to see a little Big 12 appreciation from ESPN. But as for the game, Utah's kind of had a bit of a weird year. They started off on fire with that blowout of UCLA, and everybody thought this team might be the favorite to win the Big 12. Now they drop games against Texas Tech and BYU, and some of that excitement has been dampered a bit. But I am going to roll with them in this one. Devin Dampier, I still think, is a very good quarterback, and they have a solid run game with him and Parker in the backfield. And I do think that's going to be just a bit too much for Cincinnati to take down on the road.
All right, now we have upset of the week. Like, who do you guys have?
Again, upsets have not gone super well, to be honest with you.
I got the first one.
Caden did finally pick up a W in that aspect. I'm still yet to find my first. And I'm going to roll with Wake Forest going on the road to Tallahassee to take on the Seminoles. Florida State has really had a lot of injury issues lately, and they've struggled because of that. And I think Robbie Ashford, although he has dealt with some injury stuff as of late, is a very solid quarterback. And Wake Forest is a very solid team alongside him, and I think that they can get it done in Tallahassee. Again, I don't feel confident about it anymore. I haven't felt confident in any one of these upset picks in quite some time. So
I felt very good about my last upset pick, honestly, with SMU. They were playing Clemson, and I got an even better draw on that one with Cade Klubnik being out for that game. Mustangs picked up a huge win. But for this week, I'm going to take the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They are at home against the Trojans. Trojans have had a very good season. Jordan Maeva is a very good quarterback, and so is Dylan Raiola. And I think he's going to have the better game, better matchup. And overall, I think this Cornhuskers team at home is going to play some Big Ten football and pick up a very huge win and my second upset win.
I actually strongly disagree. I really like Jaden Maeva in USC this year. And Lemon on the outside getting those passes from Maeva. I think USC is pretty good.
But Dylan Raiola, he's like the second coming of Patrick Mahomes.
Well, he kind of looks like him.
And they're going to play like him this Saturday.
I think that's about where the comparisons end. Is look.
We'll see.
All right, so that's all we have for ATU Sports Corner. Of course, I'm your host, Kenny Ketcherside. Donovan will be back next week, so do not fret. But these are my two sports analysis, Brandon and Caden, and we'll see you guys next week.